Okay. You never know, I might say something worth preserving.
Stephan, would you like me to introduce you? I don't know if there are new people here for this session.
Yeah, but probably they have read who the teacher is. So,
okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to this exploration of the text, the 37 practices. And last time we covered the title and started with the two introduction verses. And the text starts with homage to compassion. Namo Lokeshvara. And yeah, that's what I would like to start with that homage to compassion. And I guess many of you know there's a lot of teachings around compassion in Tibetan Buddhism, but if we take it very simple and direct, then this homage can be also an invitation to just more intuitively feel into your heart, into the experience of receiving kindness and giving kindness, and just appreciating that this moment is born from kindness and that we are coming together in the spirit of kindness and compassion. So there is actually something in you, in your heart, which already knows and feels what compassion is, without going to the ideas and the discussions and into how to cultivate compassion. But isn't there some softness, something in you which, without words, intuitively in your body feels, yeah, I know what it is to love, and I know how it is to be loved. It's a common human capacity which we all have, which we are born with, which can make us proud to be part of the human family. And I invite you to feel into that. And when you receive kindness or compassion, or you give kindness and care and compassion, how does it feel in your body? Not necessarily kind of focusing only on the heart area, but how does it feel in your face, in your hands, in your belly? So what happens if that soft spot in your heart is touched and isn't it all about love? And starting with being loved and loving your children and your pets and your partner and your friends. And starting there. Homage to compassion, homage to great compassion. Many Mahayana texts start like that. A homage to essence love. And entering our first meditation with that confidence that Essence love is already available. Essence love is already here. Bodhichitta is already here. It's not something we gain at the end of the path. It is something which we can discover right now. It's part of our nature. That's one of the beautiful messages of the Mahayana tradition, is that capacity is innate and is indestructible and uncorruptible in the center of our being. And yes, there is wounds and traumas and contractions which tend to cover that up, that capacity, but it remains undisturbed. It remains untouched. It is who we are. And we as a group, we are fortunate that this meeting happens under the umbrella of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Lama Zopa, Lama Yeshe. So that's also a way of connecting with the great compassion of the Mahayana tradition. To just shortly touch the masters of this tradition, the lineage of this tradition, and taking your seat as a son, as a daughter of this tradition. We are fortunate that we enter with our meetings this text of Tongme Sangpo, standing on the shoulders of giants, of bodhicitta giants. What is really important in our life, particularly anticipating death. I think most of the people on this planet will come to that conclusion. Yeah, it is love. Did I love? And something in your heart knows what I'm talking about. Something responds to that. Even if it's just a glimpse or a sense. Homage to great compassion. I mean, what is there else to bow to or to go down onto your knees and fold your hands than the presence of great compassion in this world? And that great compassion seems to be so resilient. It survives concentration camps, it survives wars, it survives the most difficult circumstances we can find ourselves. It is indestructible. People are kind to each other even in concentration camps. It's the most important flame in your heart to protect and to nurture, to fertilize that innate sense of care, of kindness. What makes it sometimes difficult to touch that soft spot in your heart is also with compassion. Compassion relies on your capacity to be with your own pain and the pain of others. So it's kind of bittersweet. It's not like just wonderful. There can be a sadness, a softness, a vulnerability with daring to open your heart. because you break through the shell of separation, feeling that the pain of the world is your pain. And sitting in that with the confidence, you're really taking your seat as a son, a daughter of all the Buddhas in that protected space, that you actually, that your heart like the sky is able to hold the pain in the world. If there's a sense of overwhelm, then that is a sign that wisdom is lacking. It still remains a mystery for me how His Holiness the Dalai Lama can be with the pain of his people and still be joyful, but that's like the ideal which we can grow into, to become like the Dalai Lama. Homage to great compassion, homage to love, to essence love. What makes your life meaningful is probably this. Starting with your own being. So I invite you to adjust your posture for the first meditation. If you like, you can close your eyes. So that might help you to connect deeper with your body and your inner life. But if your inner life becomes overwhelming, then it's also good to sit with open eyes and remain in the appreciation that we are together, that we are, by entering this meeting, we entered the Mahayana temple, and that within that temple, within that field of the group, that we are protected, that we are safe. That the love we need to heal doesn't need to come from the mini-me. It comes from something which is bigger than that. And it remains a mystery, what it is and where it comes from. But we are surrounded by the Buddhas. So I invite you to make that step into the sacred temple with your Sangha, into the presence of His Holiness Amasopa, other masters and teachers, Tara, Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha of compassion. Maybe your body remembers how it is to be in sacred spaces in the presence of embodied Buddhas. And they are here with us now. And then sliding into your body with breath and awareness. And welcoming what you bring with you into this moment. And with that, welcoming all of us. And maybe you can deepen your breath a little. So there's a sense of shifting from the head into the body, from doing into being. Settling in the Bodhisattva posture on the sacred ground of your vajra seat, which is this, which is here. And then with the out breath, following the out breath, noticing the sense of letting go, of expanding with the out breath, putting down the burden of the mini-me, of the narrative self, putting down the burden of grasping. And finding a way of being here with less and less concepts, with less and less words. Just touching the aliveness of this moment more directly. How's your belly, your shoulders? There's nothing you need to think about right now. In a way, there's nothing to do. So my words, they are more like a poem, not instruction you need to fulfill, but invitation to bring yourself along, to be yourself. And with breath and awareness, welcome what is here. Nothing is excluded. If there's something in your experience which seems to sabotage a sense of peace, a sense of contentment, what we explore here is if we just let it be. You identify less with it, and you just breathe with whatever is in your experience. We're sitting with a confidence that we have everything available in this moment to be complete, to be whole. Not being here, just being here, not knowing where here is. And your thoughts will continue to seduce you. That's fine. Just emphasize them less. Really understanding that no thought can bring you home. Thinking can't give what you are yearning for. With the in-breath sliding into the body, and with the out-breath softening even more in the belly and in the shoulders, in the face. Homage to great compassion. Homage to essence love, our true nature. And only if you get hooked or entangled in the conceptual level, just make this little kind gesture of sliding back into your hands, into the breath, into the belly, into present moment awareness. We are breathing together. I'm breathing, I'm alive, I'm aware. Together, being aware that we found the treasure. The treasure of bodhichitta. Let everything just arise, non-interfering, non-controlling. Welcome yourself, and with that, welcome everyone here. Homage to great compassion. I bow down, I surrender to great compassion, to bodhicitta. To the innate, indestructible goodness of my own being. Namo Lokeshvara. Bathing in the temple, the Mahayana temple. And then rest. Just rest. This is it. no more further to go. And then, if you have your eyes closed, you open them in your own time. All your senses are open. Staying connected with your own energy. While at the same time connecting with the others. So if you have questions or comments, you can just unmute yourself. There are not so many, or you can write on the chat. While I start to talk. So I would like to repeat the two verses of the introduction and then start with the 37 practices. The first 10 verses of the text are around topics of the Lamrim, of the gradual path of awakening. The first one, the precious human life. But let's look at the first two. So I'm using the translation of Ken MacLeod and his commentary, which is published in the book Reflections on Silver River. And, I really recommend that book, particularly if you are someone who is touched by poems and poetic language and metaphors rather than lists and conceptual knowledge. So we are all different, we all prefer different approaches. So part of our journey is also to find out, so what is my approach? What supports me? Does it help me to have memorized the 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, which is the traditional way to describe the precious human life? Or is there also something where you're touched by a metaphor or a poem in the way Ken MacLeod does it? And maybe both. Yeah. So for some people, it's helpful to have both. So the first 2 verses are the introduction, kind of a traditional way of the Indian tradition to start a text is to pay homage and then to write something which is called the intention to compose, like the intention of the poet. Why is he writing this text? And that's also what Tongme Sangpo does. And so he starts with, you who see that experience has no coming or going. So you who see, that's the homage to Avalokiteshvara, to the Buddha of compassion. You who see that experience has no coming or going, yet pour your energy solely into helping beings. So this is a very wonderful way to start the text, because it is pointing to the essence of this text, which is the union of love and wisdom, of love and spaciousness, of love and openness. So you see that experience has no coming or going, is pointing to the wisdom wing of the teachings. Of course, things come and go. So what we see with wisdom, with the recognition of emptiness, is that things don't come and go inherently, solidly. They don't come and go in the way it appears to us, but they come and go in interconnectedness, in interbeing. So the first line points to interbeing, interconnectedness, dependent arising, which is another way to talk about emptiness. Yet you pour your energy solely into helping beings. So when you read a verse like that, it's always so precious to pause and feel into it. Pour your energy solely into helping beings. That is an ideal, because if we are checking, we will probably discover that most of our energy we pour into what about me? What do I get out of this for me? But it's an ideal which we can take a compass in our life. And without thinking about it, there's something so beautiful in that expression, pouring your energy solely, completely, 100% into helping beings. And the message in the Mahayana tradition is you will not be really happy or satisfied if your life doesn't become an expression of that. So the message in the Mahayana tradition is that is our true nature, that something in you wants to shine. Something in you wants to come out, and something which you could call love, service, helping others. And probably we all have that sense or that experience that when our life is really, when we feel my life is meaningful, that is probably the situations when we are there for others. This is one of the questions which arises at the end of one's life. Did I love? Did I dare to express what I carry in my heart? Did I sing my song? Did I sing my love song to the world? And the best preparation for our death, which is very close, is to love as much as we dare to. And fail, but trying. Starting with ourselves, obviously. So in the relationship to your inner life, where are the aspects of yourself you have excluded or you try to exclude? Things you don't want to touch with loving awareness. That's the place to start. My excellent teachers and Lord all-seeing, I ever humbly honor with my body, speech, and mind. And also there, when you read something like that, take a moment to pause and feel, how does it feel to go down onto your knees, folding your hands and to surrender to the most awesome, the most beautiful treasure, whatever shape it takes for you, and to pay homage and surrender to your own nature. In that homage, we're confirming the innate bodhicitta. Now imagine in a dream. Imagine you have a dream in the night and Tara appears in front of you. The Dalai Lama appears in front of you, or whatever symbol can is meaningful for you. What else to do than going onto your knees and surrendering and making a prostration and making an offering? What else to do? It's natural. And while doing that, to realize what I'm confirming here, what I'm touching here is actually my own being, my own true nature. It's not worshipping the Dalai Lama or worshipping Lama Zopa. They are in our life as reflection of the inner guru, the inner bodhicitta. So then the promise to compose, I just will quickly read it. It's pretty straightforward. Intention. Ken MacLeod calls it intention. Full awakening, Buddha, the source of joy and well-being. It's very beautiful when you hear the word Buddha to think full awakening. And not to kind of Buddha and then to think about a historical person or something, but a Buddha is full awakening. And we all have that capacity, and it is available in this moment. Awake awareness, full awakening is present in this moment. It's temporarily covered by our conditioning. Like the clouds temporarily cover the sky. The source of joy and well-being. How fortunate we are to find the source of joy and well-being. I mean, you really made it in this life. This is it. You can relax. I mean, there's nothing more secret somewhere hidden in a cave in Tibet or something. It's an open secret. It's open. It's not something, where you need to study for 20 more years and finally find the treasure of the Mahayana tradition. It's open. It's available. That is the source of joy and well-being. Nothing else. Not your career, nothing else. Not your health, not hedonistic happiness, which is a good thing, but it's overrated. Here, the source of joy and well-being is a fundamental joy and well-being a fundamental sense of well-being, which is independent from how well your life is going, which is independent from if your mini-me gets what it wants, which is not often the case. And that fundamental well-being, so if you look, it's here. There's something, there's something there. It's a fundamental well-being. There's something in you which is probably not found in the concepts, but something in you might be able to experience right now. Everything somehow is fine as it is, including that which apparently is not fine, including that which sabotages your sense that you are just fine as you are, including that. Full awakening comes as you master the noble way. So that is not only did we found the treasure, we also find a way to uncover the treasure. In the Mahayana tradition, they have this metaphors that our nature is like a golden Buddha hidden in dirt, and things like that. So, and that's where the path comes in. So the path is not a development of bodhicitta. The path is uncovering the mud which covers that golden Buddha in our being. Mastering the noble way. So not only we found the treasure, we also found a tradition, a time-tested tradition, which shares with us methods to uncover the inner Buddha. We really hit the lottery here. Mastery depends on knowing how to practice. Because mastery depends on knowing how to practice, I now explain the practice of all bodhisattvas. So that's the intention of Tongme Sangpo, the motivation of Tongme Sangpo. And that's natural. In the moment where you touch the treasure, you can't help yourself. You want to share it with others. It comes with that experience, or with that insight, with that glimpse of your own capacity to love, and recognizing this capacity is in all of us, in everyone, in every being. Naturally, you want to share it in your own way, with your own voice, with your own skills. So then, we start with the 37 practices. So the first one, as I said, is connected with what is called the precious human life. And in the Lamrim teachings, I guess many of you have heard the teachings on the 8 freedoms and the 10 endowments. And it's easy to start to be bored by these teachings. We have heard it before. So again, I would like to invite you a felt sense, like to bring your body along, to bring your energy along. And not getting lost in the content of the 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, but rather more asking yourself, so how does that feel? Yeah. Precious human life. How does it feel? And how can I connect with that sense of appreciation, of gratitude? I remember a teaching of Shoden Rinpoche on the precious human life, and Lama Zopa was present as a student. And it's easy as someone who has listened to these teachings a few times to kind of, okay, oh, that's so boring. Can't we go on? You know, like, okay, again, precious human life. But it was so inspiring to see Lama Zopa in that teaching, because he made notes like crazy. You know, he wrote down all the points. Like really with a beginner's mind, with a fresh mind. And he was like so excited and so present there. And I mean, he had been teaching this for 40 years or something, but in that moment it was fresh, and he connected with that. Yeah, really a good example on how the expert mind, the mind of, okay, I've heard this before, so what's next? What's the most profound teaching? To be there with a beginner's mind, with a fresh mind, and again be touched by the message that this life is so precious. We are so rich. And then acknowledging the conditioned mind, the mind of lack, the mind of I don't have enough, you know, the mind seeking what should be better, the mind still hoping that it would be better to have an apartment outside of New York, or whatever the dreams of people are in New York. To see that, to notice that, and coming back to that mind of richness, of appreciation. I'm so rich. I found the treasure. So Dongme Sangpo uses a metaphor here. Right now you have a good boat, fully equipped and available, hard to find. Yeah. And Ken McLeod describes this a bit in his commentary. So he invites us to imagine, to stand at the harbor, at the place, and in front of you there's this fully equipped boat, this beautiful fully equipped boat. That fully equipped boat is being described with the 8 freedoms and the 10 endowments. Yeah? So, for example, today we have food, we have water, we have shelter. Today we have friends, spiritual friends, we have Sangha, right now. So it's talking about this moment. Today you have, you really made it. Today you have food, you have water, you have shelter, and you have friends. You have Sangha right now. This is amazing. So try to connect with that sense of safety. You don't need more than you have. At least today, at least now. Then we all can listen, we all see, we can all walk. So these are all part of that fully equipped boat. So we have the capacity. We have the capacity right now to listen to this, to be together. And we are here together not to discuss Bitcoin, which is an interesting topic, but we are here to touch this treasure which longs so much to be discovered. This treasure longs to be discovered. That's what we are. That's the objective of our meeting. To discover that, to touch that treasure of bodhicitta, to touch that essence of the Mahayana tradition. With the help of this text. There is a long waiting list in this universe to be in this body, to be able to discover this text, to be able to practice as a human being, which is an amazing, difficult, and impossible to express how difficult it is to be human on this planet. But it is an opportunity. So right now, all of us here in the talk, we have this right mixture of pain and struggle and capacity. And I hope that you have enough pain in your life so that, and if not, it will come. It always comes. Yeah? Somehow the wisdom of the universe always arrange the right challenges, the right problems for us to bring us to that edge where we have no other way than to turn to the Dharma, where we have no other option anymore than to turn to love and to make that the center of the mandala of our life. So that all our activities, all our thoughts revolve around touching the treasure, familiarizing ourselves with that treasure, becoming that treasure. So there's that boat while we're standing there. Precious human life. It's like a threshold. It's the threshold of genuinely taking refuge. What holds us back? So what holds us back? Why the heck are we not stepping in that boat? So we look back, and there's our friends, and there's the activity of the running around in the rat race, trying to become rich. But there's also the Netflix series we just started to watch. Yeah. And unfortunately on this boat there's no Wi-Fi. Yeah. So no, I'm not going onto that boat. There's no Wi-Fi. I can't finish. I don't know what you like to watch there. I can't. So yeah. So there is that conflict, yeah, on that threshold. Do I really want to put all my cards onto the Dharma? Or do I turn back? And that is like a situation or an experience which repeats itself every day. So there's always that seduction of not stepping into the boat, but trying to find temporary happiness in hedonistic pleasure, in things which seem to bring safety, or which seem to make us feel safe. So that boat, Tongwe Sangpo says then, is the purpose of that boat, or the capacity of the boat. This boat is to free yourself and others from the sea of samsara. That's the capacity of this boat, to free yourself and others from the sea of samsara. And of course, that for many people, that takes time, yeah, to really trust that this boat has this capacity. It's not often that people meet these teachings. It happens sometimes, and they just step onto that boat, and that's it. Yeah. So for many people, we live in that tension of that threshold, stepping into the boat for a few days and then coming back into the harbor. Then he continues saying, day and night, constantly study, reflect, and meditate. So this can be a bit day and night. Yeah? How does it make you feel when you hear that? Day and night. Yeah? So these are. So it's good to remember when we read these verses not to take them necessarily so literally. Yeah? But to understand that they describe an ideal which we develop into. Yeah? But day and night, study, reflect, and meditate, which are like this progression of familiarizing ourselves with the teachings. We start with the study, like we now read the text, and then we reflect on them, like we do now, and then we meditate upon them to really integrate these teachings. So day and night, day and night. So that's when we read that, it might be the response of the natural response to that. I can't do this day and night. This is like, and because we have this wanting to be a good boy, good girl thing, and wanting to do things perfectly. So teachings like that for us are often rather disturbing, or not inspiring, because we take it too literally. We read this and we think this is what he really means. Yeah, I mean, so it's important to have an eye on when teachings like this from the traditional text create a sense of I'm not good enough, I can't do it, this is too stressful, I don't have time for that. So this is our way, how our mind sabotages these teachings, and the practices and the teachings can become a straitjacket, something which is not liberating and relieving us, but to the opposite. But that's not what they are meant for. It's our interpretation. It's our Western neurotic mind listening to this and then feeling that pressure and the sense of failing and not being good enough. So one way to contemplate this day and night constantly is also to know, those of you who have listened to teachings for a few years, and I'm sure there's many of you who have done that, maybe not necessarily Buddhism, but other wisdom traditions. Now, if you look back into the last years, and now these days, these weeks, probably what you start to recognize more and more is that there is a Dharma touch, a Dharma view all the time. That it is almost impossible for you not to practice. So even in, let's say, even in an experience where you follow addictions, or where you follow, where your reactivity comes out, even that happens with a view of Dharma, recognizing it. Yeah? After, or even while it is happening. So I would like to invite you to say confidently, with confidence, I'm practicing day and night. It's already happening. Why, I can say for myself, at least, I can say with confidence, I'm day and night I practice. Mainly in the failing, mainly in the failing, mainly in recognizing what sabotages the expression of bodhicitta through my life. Mainly in that, but it's still practice. Practicing doesn't mean to be successful. Yeah. So if we would be successful, then we wouldn't need to practice. So practicing means to fail. And then getting up, getting back to your seat, getting back to take your seat again and lean towards the compass, lean towards the direction, lean towards the refuge. So right now you have a good boat, fully equipped and available. Hard to find. It's so hard to find. The Mahayana tradition has many metaphors for that. Yeah? How hard to find the precious human life. So the reflection on the precious human life is meant to connect us with that joy, that gratitude, that appreciation to be here. Right there where you are, in the catastrophe of your life. And to rejoice, to appreciate that these teachings give us the opportunity, particularly to transform to work with, to be with that which we don't want to have in our life. So this can really lead to a sense of like a gentle, quiet sense of happiness. Not happiness in the sense of, oh, I'm so happy, but just that deep sense of meaning. No matter what is going to happen in my life, no matter what is happening right now, there's the direction of the Dharma, there's the direction of bodhichitta, there's the teachings, there's my connections with the wisdom traditions. And that connection, that direction can become so stable in your life that a quiet confidence is born within you that you're not going to lose it, no matter what. No experience, not even your own death, is able to cut that bond, is able to disconnect you from that safe direction. This is amazing. I mean, if you imagine how much of humanity right now is completely lost in a world without meaning, in a world without direction, in a world without hope. And to have that can be a daily source of genuine happiness, a source of fundamental well-being. This is the practice of a bodhisattva. So those of you who have received teachings on the precious human rebirth, I don't think it makes sense for you to go over this reflection again and again and again. It's like but where there is maybe room for growth and improvement is to bring it into your sense every day, and not by memorizing all the points and trying to go through them, but like to maybe make your own description. Pick something from what I said and let it sink, just for a few moments, just for a few minutes every day, and find ways for you. Yeah? So we are all different. We all need different symbols, words, directions. Yeah? Just shortly, precious human life. And if you have done that a few times, then just the word precious human life can light you up. Yeah? So you don't need to go through all the conceptual thinking. So precious human life, okay. My body knows how that feels. I know what that is on a felt sense, on an experiential level. And then those of you who listen to Geluk teachings, probably the next teaching on the precious human life is coming up for the 100th time. Yeah, you have listened to that. Then using that teaching experience not so much as, again, the same information, but using that as a guided meditation in that moment to drop into the taste of precious human life, to take the teachings, which you have understood on the conceptual level, yes, but to take that teachings, and that's why it's so boring to listen to it again, because what's next? I've learned that already. But to take the teaching experience then as an invitation to touch that experiential with, taking from these words, taking from the presence of the teacher, that which supports you to have a sense of meaning, direction, refuge, safety. Yeah, so is there any question, comment to what I said?
Stephan,
Yes.
I just wanted to say the Netflix example was very timely.
Yeah.
Since I am in the middle of a 50-episode Netflix series.
What is it?
It's a Chinese martial arts
okay.
series.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm on episode 36.
Yeah, I think we are all on some episodes, many of us. I started to watch, I think it's called Eight Senses. Yeah, it's this group of people who are kind of so interconnected with each other that they have the same experiences, and so something like that. I think for us it's really helpful to not conclude from this teaching that it means to leave that all behind, but to rather ask the question, how can I watch and be engaged in social media and in this series with a Dharma view? Yeah, to kind of expand our idea what practice is and what meditation is. Yeah. And there's so many, I mean, and if we are creative in this, then we can actually feel with a confidence that watching this series is part of my exploration of human experience. It's part of exploration of my own experience. Yeah, so I watch, but I explore. I bring the question into watching. How can I transform this into Dharma practice? There's so many answers to that. How?
Hello, Stephan.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say hello.
Hello.
I think I saw you in 1999 at the end of the retreat with Lama Zopa Rinpoche in Land of Medicine Buddha. You were
Wow.
a monk.
The Bodhisattva retreat. Yeah. That's a long time. I don't remember you. but I was sticking out because I'm so tall and I was a monk. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you for, of course, there was a very special feeling in the room. Even if you don't remember me, I think remember how special when we had completed these 3 months with Lama Zopa in the Gompa from 5 a.m. until 11 p.m. The small group of us, about 65 or 70, did the whole thing.
Yes.
It's just very special. I feel again that feeling seeing you.
Yeah, great. What is your name?
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Brad, and we helped to start the Shantideva Center here in New York.
Okay. Yes.
I ask something?
Yeah.
I would like to ask something about this book.
Mm.
I was not present the last time, so maybe you have already talked about it. But I wonder, I think, are these like straightforward translations, or are there more like interpretations of the text?
Yes.
Because it's so modern, I mean.
Yes. Yeah, I talked about that in our first meeting, and
Yeah, okay.
I think the are the videos uploaded on YouTube at one point, or yeah?
Yes,
so
they're
you
uploaded, and it's in the chat, the link.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
You
Yes.
see it? Yeah. Good.
Yes, but it's an important point to recognize that Ken MacLeod is one of the translators who are not so much concerned about, how to say, like word translation, but rather seeing these texts as a poem where the poet Tongme Sangpo wants to share a human experience, and so Ken MacLeod tries to translate these texts in a way to transmit the experience which is being described in these poems, and for that he takes a lot of freedom. Or sometimes it's actually helpful to read a more traditional translation of the text to make the connection more. What is this actually called traditionally? So yeah, sometimes it's helpful to do that. And yeah, and this is one of the points also Ken MacLeod makes in this commentary, that one of the challenge we have with these texts is that we are taking them too literally. Like, because we are raised in the culture where words seem to refer to something which really exists. I mean, like, if there's a description of hell in one of these verses, then we read that as something which, there is something like hell, something, you know, which literally exists in the way it is being described, but instead of seeing it as a description of a human experience. And then we can recognize hell today in our experience. Today, all of us, we were touching hell. So this and I guess I will come back to this point a few times when metaphors come up, which might be challenging for us because we read them from our Western linguistical point of view. It creates a lot of unnecessary problems, I think, for Westerners. So always asking what, and reflecting and feeling into, what does the poet, the artist, actually wants to say with this work? What is the experience behind it? And can I recognize this in my own being, in my own life? And then putting maybe my own words and descriptions on it. This is so helpful. It's really helpful. I mean, there's people who put away books like Liberation in the Palm of Your Hand and Pabonka Rinpoche and stuff like that, because it's too heavy, because we feel that the words, they actually mean something. They're referring to something real, but they are not. And they are, these teachings and these texts, they are written by a human being for a certain culture, for a certain audience. Yeah? Like Pabonka Rinpoche was sitting in front of a few hundreds of monks. Like, when was it? I think in the 20s, 1920 or 1918, when he gave that teaching. So it's a different culture, it's a different world. So if we take it literally, we are really in trouble. I mean, we read that book and we leave as sinners, not empowered in our Buddha nature. Yeah, we leave as sinners. And this creates incredible pressure on some people, and I saw that again and again in the last 20 years. People burning out, trying to carry their literal interpretation of the teachings and being scared to death. I mean, these teachings, they are supposed to relieve us from the heaviness of death. But instead, people get more and more scared of death because they have all created this negative karma and they were angry with the guru. And so they get more and more scared of death instead of, and that's not what the Dharma is about. The Dharma is not about putting us into a straitjacket and making us more scared. But the same kind of teachings, it's interesting to explore, why didn't it damage the Tibetans in the way it damages us? Because they live on a different planet. Have you ever tried to communicate with a Tibetan? It's like, I mean, it's amazing. They just see everything completely different. So if you tell a Tibetan, one moment of anger towards your guru brings you to avicii hell, they don't take it literally. They respond to that. First, they respond to that knowing, yeah, but I'm actually almost a Buddha. I'm actually safe. I'm completely safe. So in that culture, it's okay to use these metaphors of the warrior and the war and the always and day and night and practicing like hair on fire and so on. It doesn't work for us. So we really need to translate these teachings into a language which nurtures us. And Ken McLeod is one of the teachers who try to do that. Yeah, I think that's it. Maybe we need to extend the duration of this exploration to 2 years. Yes, you want to ask something? Yeah.
If I can just make a comment that the book Reflection on Silver is an amazing book. And thank you so much for introducing that book to us. And I really highly recommend to all of us to get it. It's really easy to read. It's not, and I have a problem. I'm dyslexic, so reading for me is difficult, but it's a book which is really accessible. And so thank you, Stephan, for basing your teaching on it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Stephan. So tomorrow, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, yes, I'm traveling to Sweden tomorrow, so it should be okay. But yeah, so if I'm still in the train, I'm doing it from the train. Yeah? So just also as a teaching that you can practice everywhere. Yeah, so you don't need to sit in a certain place and be all safe and. So I can also do it being stressed on a journey and, having missed the last train and being late for the retreat, yeah? which is going to start tomorrow evening.
Okay. Good luck tomorrow.
And
thank you so much.
Yeah, so let's conclude with the dedication, yeah, so that we share, we don't keep the positive energy, the inspiration for ourselves, reminding ourselves that we are here with the intention of bodhicitta, to wake up and to show up in the world, not to wake up only for ourselves, but to wake up so that we can show up in the world for the benefit of all. And dedicating like We don't have the time to dedicate like Lama Zopa, but we could say we dedicate like Lama Zopa. Yeah, so like it's a shortcut. Yeah, maybe also shortly, touch the people right now in your life who are in crisis. So you invite them into this space, mothers and fathers and husbands and friends and and projects. Yeah. All the secret bodhisattvas in the world who right now help, who right now serve everywhere. So may this meeting be a drop in the ocean of bodhicitta, lasting forever. Yes. I have guided meditations and teachings on my SoundCloud profile, so you can check that out. It's on SoundCloud. They have also an app, and there is also a playlist of recordings of teachings I gave on this text some time ago in Sweden. So if you want, you can just check that out to stay a bit in touch throughout the time between the teachings. Thank you very much. Take care. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Stephan.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephan.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Stephan.
Thank you.
Safe travel to Sweden.
Yes, thank you.